All right, folks, welcome to the runningrestaurants.com podcast. We're bringing the tips, tools, and techniques you need to make your restaurant more profitable and successful. I'm your host, Jaime Oikle, and today we've got a great episode for you with Megan Rosen, Chief Development Officer of Next Brands. So a little bit more about Next Brands. They're a family-owned strategic manager and growth accelerator of impactful food franchise brands. So we're going to talk about that. Megan is helping lead the charge in the newest initiative for Next Brands with the planned expansion of two of its brands through its new innovative modular container location concept. So, Megan, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Let's dig in from there, and we'll go at it. Tell me more about what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much, Jamie, for the intro. Yeah, I'm really excited for the opportunity to speak with you. Really, we are launching something quite innovative that we thought of while our founder and CEO, who happens to be my father, kind of realized during the pandemic when restaurants were struggling to stay open because the seating in the lobby was reduced. That drive-through was really going to be, restaurants were really going to be dependent on drive-through in the future. In addition to that, we started growing some of our own restaurant brands and saw that real estate was really hard to come by, especially end caps and standalone properties. They're often scooped up really fast or overpriced and just economically hard to sustain in the restaurant industry. So we started looking at, other brands that were doing kind of a modular concept, or a pod concept, I would like to say. Out here on the West Coast, we have Dutch Bros, and they go into out parcels and parking lots, and their footprint's very small. They're able to service, hundreds of customers a day. With a lower investment cost. So we kind of went with that and looked at, the shipping container concepts, which have started to grow, and wanted to see how we could streamline a shipping container modular build and put in a full quick serve restaurant. So a lot of these standalone like pods, that I like to call it, don't offer an entire range of food. So you're kind of limited to not having a hood or a grease trap. And it's a lot of, you just need the electrical component. But we took about a year, worked with a lot of designers, engineers, and operators to develop a full service QSR restaurant that can fit inside two 20 by 40 shipping containers. And, we've just opened our first one, which to a lot of success with our Beef-a-Roo brand in Northern Michigan. It's been open about 6 weeks. We've serviced over 5,000 customers. There's an awesome tour I'd love to link in the chat if I can of the container. We have another one on the way for blenders, smoothies, bowls, and acai brand. And then we're rolling them out as franchise models as well and working with other brands. The benefit of it is it's kind of like a plug and play. Once we had it figured out, other brands can come to us and we can do the design and roll it out for them.
Yeah. So, there was a lot there. So I was writing down. No, it was good. It's like now we can dig into to some of it. So, yeah, let's go back to just the idea that franchising is very popular. It's happening in all over. Like I talked about where I am, it's brands are coming in, independents are coming in, but if franchises are coming in, and real estate is expensive and it's hard to get. And so, yeah, that concept of modular, where you tell me, do you build the unit? Does it ship? Does it plop down? Does it plug in? I mean, is it that simple? What else is going on?
So a lot of the variables that you often find with traditional real estate, like weather, weather conditions, existing conditions, are taken away when you do the container models. A lot of it is fabricated off-site. The only thing that needs to be done is the site work on a flat piece of land. Traditionally, we're looking at a half acre, which is not a huge parcel of land to be able to put a full quick serve restaurant on top of it. And so the majority is fabricated off-site. the container is shipped, and then it's finalized. It's hooked up to the utilities, and the FF&E is put in, making the build out fairly quick and a lot faster than traditional brick and mortar, and a lot lower of an investment.
I definitely will definitely link the tour that you mentioned, in the notes on the website and so forth. But what does it look like? We're not looking at a container. What else do you do to make it look special, to brand it? What sort of things can you do to customize it?
Well, that's the exciting thing about the container is you can really customize it any way you'd like. We have a few murals that we fabricated for some of our other brands that, kind of just wrap around the container. So you can put um, decorations, not decorations, I'm using the wrong word, but it's so you could put a design on it, make it really flashy. Our blenders one has a rendering that's going to look really cool with a lot of pops of color. Some of the other locations that we're franchised out, we're looking to partner with local artists to do
Mhm.
murals on the side.
That's great.
So the benefit really is it's kind of like a blank slate. And instead of just a gray concrete box, you can really advertise your product and your food and um, get people interested from the outside.
Let's go to like cost savings, because that's the first thing that jumps into my mind. I know it's on your website as a big deal. Development is that's where a lot of dollars go, and this can streamline that. You don't have to share exact numbers, but or maybe it's percentages. Like, what are you really seeing from that aspect of it? The significance of the cost savings. What do you think?
We're seeing anywhere between 40 and 60% lower than a
Mm,
traditional brick and mortar. And the development time really is also plays into that a lot. So if you were to develop a piece of land and build from the ground up, if you wanted to do a standalone drive-through, that's going to be a 12 to 14 month project, and that's probably a fast project. Um, our container concepts are anywhere between, it can be as low as 8 weeks to 12 weeks. And the largest
oh,
part
wow.
is just the site work and the zoning, which, municipalities that's the biggest variable. So we started construction. I think we started site work on our blenders location in Michigan on the 1st of April. The container got delivered last week, and we're scheduled an opening date of mid-May. So it's about a 6-week delivery time. In
Wow.
addition to that, the initial investment is quite lower. It's anywhere between 3 to 600,000, and that again depends on how you have the site. How you receive the site. But if you're thinking about that from an investment standpoint, you're not losing all of that time with
Mhm.
construction, spending capital to get your doors open and waiting for customers to get in. You can really build the excitement as you're starting to work on the site and when the container gets delivered. And then it's constantly in the customer's foremind that, what is this new concept? This is exciting. And then all of a sudden it's open and you're able to deliver and I think really make a big splash in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we just to give an example here where we are, we're outside of Orlando, Florida, and the area is growing like crazy. But there's been a national chain come into the neighborhood recently, and I'm talking months and months and months, and we're like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's not coming, it's not coming, it's coming. So it's like, oh my gosh! So sometimes these site pads take forever, and like we're ready for it, and when they first started clear the land, they put up the hiring signs, and I'm like, that's a little ambitious. 8 months later, they're still working on it. It may even be longer at this point. So yeah, that time horizon can really be a big player in the excitement of obviously the owners, but also the neighborhood and the community and so forth. But let's go to geography for a second. Where are you guys now? Where are you expanding? Where are you looking to expand? What do you think?
Yeah, so we've got our core group of restaurants for the Beef-a-Roo brand are located in Northern Illinois. It's called
Mhm.
Rockford, Illinois.
Okay.
The first three franchised container concepts are going just over the border in Wisconsin, Beloit, Monroe, and Janesville. So we're really sorry about that. We're really expanding outward in the Midwest. I mean,
Yep.
our meals and our offerings are very Midwest comfort food focused.
Sure.
And then we've got some interest in Michigan. We're doing a big expansion in up north. I'm from Michigan, so northern Michigan. top of the mitten, if this is, if anybody watches this, if it's not just vocal, and down through the Midwest, so through Missouri, and then looking at Texas, Arizona, and some interest in Florida as well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, talk about the brand then for that brand or the other brand for a second. Like what are you guys doing? What's special about it? What's the typical meal look like and so forth? What's the experience? What do you think?
Yeah, Beef-a-Roo is a really interesting concept that we were lucky enough to get involved with and asked to roll out, the franchise system. It's been a brand. It's been around in Rockford, Illinois, for over 55 years.
Okay.
And their differentiator is really that everything is made to order. It's not fast
Hmm.
food. It's good quality food served faster than normal at a more affordable standpoint or more affordable price point. So, a family of four, if you want to take your family out and feed them a, delicious, healthy-ish meal, you can go to Applebee's or somewhere similar and spend maybe over $100, or you could take them to McDonald's and spend less than 20, but still, feel kind of crappy about what you're feeding them.
Yeah.
Beef-a-Roo is a nice sweet spot where you can take your family, you can sit down, you can order it, you can take it home. There's something for everybody. There's gluten-free options, there's salads, there's burgers, obviously roast beef, and the milkshakes are the best. But the quality is really what sets us apart. It's all fresh, it's all made to order, and it's delicious.
You hit on something that is top of my mind because we eat out a lot. We're a family of five and the kids are, and we're running around and we have those generic Applebee type experiences that are $100 and you're like, man, that was just not worth the value, but you also don't necessarily want to McBurger this or that. So yeah, that sweet spot is really important to hit budget wise, quality wise. And so you're probably seeing that from a trend standpoint as that's kind of where Americans want to dine out. Is that part of your expansion thought?
It definitely is, coming up on, what we're looking at in the economy with kind of this small R recession coming up. Traditionally, fast food sales do increase in
Yeah.
times of economic downturn. So we are seeing bigger influx in larger orders, larger family orders
Mm.
with, like kids meals and everything. Not We don't offer like a kids meal like a toy, but in the sense of, the children's milkshakes, and a lot of families
Yep.
really happy that they have another option for for their family. The area where we opened in Rose City, Michigan, very small, underserved market. There's one large player out there with golden arches, and it doesn't have a great reputation in the community because their food is just not prepared fresh, it doesn't taste healthy, and it doesn't taste good. And we've opened our location to a lot of really good reviews because people feel like they finally have an option where they can actually feed their family, uh, you know, a meal that is home cooked, that they don't have to put all the effort and energy into, but can also still not break the bank.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I can appreciate that. That's again from the family dining out perspective. Let's go to opening up, right? So, footprint is it? You just talked about opening up and serving 5,000 meals or 5,000 people. So you took in a lot of people. You are getting reviews. You had to hire people. What are you seeing from that perspective of this? Staffing. It costs more to hire people. What are you doing there systematically to set up your franchisees for success?
That's a really good question. Yeah. We've seen a big shift from a couple of years to now, previously trying to find quality employees.
Yeah.
So we do work with we counsel our franchisees to go a couple dollars over minimum wage to
Okay.
attract quality people and people that want to be there. A big part of Beefaroo is the culture. So we want everybody to feel valued, and we want to be able to pay them a living wage, and we want to be able to bring jobs to the community. To do that, though, you still have to be able to operate, at a profit. So we coach our franchisees and we run our restaurants to keep certain percentages in
Hmm.
line. So in the restaurant industry, it's COGS, cost of goods, and labor. So we try to keep those no higher than 59%. And that
Okay.
way,
Yeah.
regardless of if we have a great day in sales, or if we do or a great week in sales or a bad week in sales, that percentage doesn't change. And then our P&Ls don't really change. Now, the benefit of the container model is the operations and cost is a lot lower than the traditional brick and mortar. So traditional brick and mortar, you're going to need about 6 people to run your restaurant at a time, and about 24 people on staff, and probably 2 salary managers. Where the container model, you only need 3 people on staff at a time, and probably 1 salary manager, and a shift lead and a key holder. So there's a lot of cost savings there as well.
Well, that's a big deal. That aspect of it, from a staffing perspective, because around the country, as you would know, it's been hard to find staff. It's perhaps getting a little bit easier, but for a while, that was the craziest part of running the business. Um, Paying people well is a good incentive, but beyond that, having, just to echo what you said, having a culture that folks can get behind and a story that they can believe in is an important piece, in our opinion, in terms of selling people. Why should you choose to work here versus here versus here? And when you're competing for folks, a lot of times money is the number one equation, but a lot of times it's something else. It's brand and belief and food and story and all those things, and growth and development. So those pieces can come into play too. What are people, I'm just thinking from your perspective, what are you looking for from a franchisee? What are you looking for? Is it someone that's going to take one location? Are you looking for area expansion? Like, you guys are kind of young in that aspect of it. Probably all the above. Tell me.
We are. So that's a really good question. We're still refining what's called a franchise avatar persona. It's really, as we are a micro emerging brand and we're looking at these early adopters. It's really more of an emotional and personal connection at this point, with
Sure.
each franchise lead that comes in. And that is one of the hardest things that we have to do from a development standpoint, is not get lost on units sold, and focus on the actual quality of the franchisee that's coming in, because there are people that might not know how to run a restaurant, and so they're not proven operators. And
Right.
we've had people come to us and want multiple units, but their history is in businesses, and they might be able to build a business, but I don't know if they can roll up their sleeves and make a turkey avocado jackwrap if it comes down to it. So we really want people who are invested in the brand, have an emotional connection, and aren't afraid to actually put in the work to run the brand,
Hmm.
and bring it to market. So a good example of that is our first multi-unit franchise system. They're established. It's a group of 8 individuals, and they are established. They're multi-unit owners of other brands. But when they came and wanted to run this brand, or wanted to purchase Beef-a-Roo, they specifically said that they weren't comfortable, not having an operator in their team, and asked for a creative solution. So we were able to we were working with one of the previous managers with Beef-a-Roo. She's been with the brand for 30 years. She
Hmm.
loves the brand. She's put 2 children through college with it.
Yep.
And we said, we have an opportunity where they'd like to bring you on as the operator. And in turn, they'll give you some ownership. And she's always wanted to own her own Beef-a-Roo. And now, because of this opportunity, because we've franchised the business, she gets to be part owner in 3 of these locations. So not only is she going to be an amazing operator, an amazing trainer, but she has that ownership stake in it. So I know it's going to be successful.
No, that's exciting. I'm glad. Good for her. Yeah, you just mentioned the word training. I find that to be a big important piece. Obviously you got to train the owners, the management, the new staff. But when you open a location, you do training. Do you do ongoing training? How do you think about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got about 6 weeks of training laid out, and everybody that signs on even if you're going to be an absentee owner, and this is where it kind of comes into play for us, what I mean by people who are willing to roll up their sleeves,
Yeah.
you have to attend all 6 weeks of training. So there's 4 weeks in one of our locations in Illinois, and then 2 weeks at your location prior to grand opening. And then there's continued support going. There's continued support and active coaching as you continue to run your business. So especially in the first few months, we will meet with the owners weekly and look over their COGS and labor and make sure those KPIs are being hit so that they're successful. Because at the end of the day, an open unit or a closed unit, just because we have it sold, isn't going to help our brand. An open, successful unit with a happy owner is the best thing for us.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. On that marketing side, on that grand opening side, the excitement of opening a new location. And that's what you've just gone through. And I'm sure you'll be doing a lot more. What do you think is the key to capturing customers in that early process, whether it's capturing their data, capturing their feedback, getting those early, early answers to what's going on? Do you do anything special or anecdotal?
Getting involved in the community is really important to us at the very beginning and when we open. So getting involved in local Facebook groups, getting our name out there, hiring within the community.
Yeah.
That's all very important to us, especially because our business model is to go into those smaller communities outside of major metropolitan areas that might feel overlooked. So just getting our name out there, working within the community. We also have a PR firm that will do local outreach and work with local news stations and get some stories highlighted there. But as much as you can, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, is just getting involved in the community. One of our managers in Rose City was a manager of a bank that had closed, but she knew everybody there, so she put the word out. We put signs up and everybody was really excited. So it's more about grassroots marketing at this time than major, PR pushes and SEO dollars.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think about, I went to a couple new places recently in my area and I just randomly happened to meet the manager, just literally randomly. So I talked about, hey man, you just opened up a new place. It's exciting. How's it going? Happened to be going well in both cases. But I asked the question, what are you doing to capture these hundreds of people that are in here having a good time? Oh man, we're so busy. We haven't been capturing their information. I said, oh man, you have to do that, right? Because you want to be able to control their data and invite them back, capturing that data. Do you guys do anything special on that side, loyalty side, SMS, email marketing? What do you think?
Yeah, so for both of our brands, we have a loyalty program and you can opt in for a text and email marketing. I'm seeing a huge response more to text, a lot less when we do an email campaign. We've done some A/B testing, this running specific specials via email and via text. And almost always the text response is higher. I think people are just more receptive to that. And you can also push it out immediately. So if there's a special you want somebody to see, or if you want
lunch.
Exactly. Like sometimes, I'll get a text from DoorDash or something and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. So, we like to run like lunch promos or happy hour specials, and it's a good way to keep on top in front of your customers. We've also, we're beta testing our own app, which allows us to geo-target customers so that if they get within 5 miles of one of our restaurant, they'll get a push notification, maybe a percentage off. And then ratings are huge. So we run Google review campaigns as much as possible. We love feedback. It's very important to actively engage with all of the reviews you get, even if they're negative. That's, I think, the most important is that you're showing people that you're listening and that you care. So just making sure you're staying on top of it. I typically push out a Google review campaign once a week. And then we also have like a comment suggestion card that goes into some takeout orders that people can just reach out directly to us and provide us with their feedback in a less public setting.
Well, we certainly covered a lot in a short time. Kind of ran through some big hot topics, and we kind of like to keep things 25 minutes or so. But there's more stuff I'd like to dig into the future. So maybe we'll have you back on to talk about how you're growing and other stuff you're seeing, or we'll dig into one of these particular things. But as we wrap up today, anything you want to leave people with, how to reach you guys, how to learn more about the brand, or any other parting thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for having me. Just, I think I'd like to leave off with my opinions on franchising, which is just a great opportunity for people who've wanted to own their own business or want freedom to do so, but don't necessarily have the background knowledge or
Mhm.
capital to start off. It's kind of like an easy button into getting into business because there's a lot of proven systems, and you still get to own your own business, but you kind of have that support system under you of a successful franchise operations team and experts that you can ask. So that's why I really love franchising. I'm really excited about these two brands.
Yeah. Well, hit them with. Thank you for that. Hit them with the URLs to go to for the brands, or the main company brand. Send them where you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to nextbrandsanddevelopment.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Megan Rosen, Chief Development Officer of Next Brands. I'm very, very responsive. So just reach out to me directly and I'll say hi.
Good. Yeah, appreciate that. I always like that visual, that easy button, hitting that,
Yes.
like whatever office store maybe did that first, but I like that visual, keeping things easy. Don't have to reinvent the wheel. Megan, nice spending time with you here today. Folks, Megan Rosen, Chief Development Officer of Next Brands. You can get a hold of her on LinkedIn, as well as I know nextbrands.com. Yep, nextbrands.com for sure will work as well. For more restaurant marketing and operations, service people, and tech tips, stay tuned to us here at runningrestaurants.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks much.
Thank you. Thanks.